Good morning YouTube and welcome to Hawk Moto TV. Today we have the brand new 2025 XR650L and Acerbis skid plate which we will be installing. Alright, I guess we'll start by uninstalling the first skid plate, the factory skid plate, and then we're going to have to figure out how to do this together. Can you hand me the drill please, Brandon? Hold this. Hold it. So we just got the factory skid plate off the bike, and I don't know if you can call that a skid plate. It's kind of lacking, but we got it off and we got the new Acerbis ready to install. And this should be a big upgrade for what we do around here. We ride in some of the roughest terrains around the United States. I live in the Mendocino National Forest, and it's rugged out here. You know, we got the hill fire and just a lot of untamed terrain that we experience out here, and this is going to help us big time. So now let's figure out how to get it on. So it looks like it's so big we can't even do it with the stand. We're gonna have to take the bike off the stand and go from there. Alright, so the bike is off the stand and I have the plate just sitting in position to kind of see where the bolts and the alignments are gonna line up. And I'm having a little bit of issues figuring out what I want to do with this emissions cable, which I read online was gonna probably be in the way. Good old AI warned me of this, but it seems like you could just take this thing, you know, because it's got that little notch right there, there, that the tube sits in, and when the tube's in going, you know, it gives it issues. It doesn't line up flush right now because the tube is in the way. So if you pull the tube out and kind of give that a nice little slam, she sits right into place. And you can see right here that the holes just need to be moved like so. It looks like they're not. So like this one's kind of perfect. Then you go over to here and it looks like that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I mean, I could probably just like bend it into place like that. So once I get one bolt in, I'll be able to just bend it into place, I think. But also the bottom. Sorry guys, I'm moving around here. So the right here on the instructions, if I could freaking get it to see, pieces D and E, which are right here and here, they're supposed to line up there and there, and it says to do it before you put the plate on, but what looks like it's going to be easier is to not listen to them and to, I have all the hardware pre set up, so it looks like you can slide this right. Let me try to focus that for you guys. Looks like you can just put this right where she needs to be, and then maybe the only issue we'll have is this wire. And I mean, you could still kind of fix it up inside there, but you might just be able to do something a little simpler, like carve a little hole and zip tie it on there, which is probably what I'll do. Got a Dremel set, so I'll probably just poke a little hole and then zip tie her like so. But I'm gonna take this thing off. I'm gonna get the block off kit eventually. And yeah, so this thing won't even be an issue. But as you can see, I mean, everything looks good. So I got that lined up like that. And I'm doing this second. So I'm gonna try to do it this way, and I'll get back with you guys in a second. All right, so it's still sitting in place right now, and I've got this bottom bolt right there. It is just hand tight, threaded. But what I had more trouble doing, guys, was actually the right side. So come over here, and this side was giving me some trouble because there's no room. Once you get the skid plate in place, there's no room to fit your hand in there to get that other little joint that they want you to, because it sits flush against this here, this frame. And that's what I did here was I'm not a good mechanic, guys, so I'm really not. Maybe you guys will have an easier time. But what I did, I've always been a good rigger, so I wedged this because I couldn't. So you have to thread the bolt. I put this little piece, I sat it flush on the frame before I put the skid plate on, and then I put the skid plate, I just snapped it into place, and then so that way it held the brass joint where I need it to be. And then from there you have to thread the bolt in the bottom into the joint, but it kept just pushing the joint up, and there was no way for me to get my fingers or my hand inside there to hold it down, to push it tight so you could screw it in. So what I did is I have this pretty thick zip tie right here that I just shimmied inside there to wedge it up against the motor and the brass joint, because I didn't want to use any of these, screwdrivers on the casing, and that seemed to work. So right now, that plastic little zip tie up top, flush from the motor and the joint, made it just tight enough for me to be able to come down here and get it loose and it's hand tight. So now she's hand tight, and I think she's in place. So now we just need to put the get these top ones lined up, which they're not. So that's gonna be the next step, and I'll get back with you. I mean, you just move it around and they kind of shimmy into place. That's why I didn't tighten those down. They're just hand tight, so I could still get it where I need to be. But it's coming along. All right, so I've got it all on there. All the bolts are just hand tightened right now. All 4, 2 there, and 2 there. And like I said, that right one back there was a little troubling. I did that one first because I had to shimmy something in there to get it to stay. This one you could easily just fit your hand in there. So now that it's on there, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything down. All right, this right side bolt, it's a little crooked, but it seems like I got it tightening, so she should be straightening out, which sort of looks like she is. Get this side a little bit. Oh, it's not tightening, so go ahead and set it down for you guys. Sorry if you can't see nothing, but you're not missing nothing, just tightening this bolt. I gotta put a little pressure with my other hand on the top so it doesn't keep spinning, which I think I got now. So just get them all nice and snug evenly. Sorry for the bad angles, boys, but we're getting her done. Probably should use my impact, but I don't want to. I was going to, but because I was having so much issues with threading it, I didn't want to use the impact. And then you kind of have to muscle it into the right place to line up the bolts, so it's really easy to cross thread. These are getting nice and snug now. Damn. It's definitely a world of difference. Alright. I'm just going to go ahead and torque them all down with a little bit more. I can't do it with the camera, so I'll get back to you guys in a second. Alrighty, there we are. All the way secure. She is complete. And I think it looks so good. So much better. Fully secure on the bottom. I mean, so much more secure than what it was with that this thing, the factory skid plate. I still don't think that's what you can call it as a skid plate. That's like just a fucking cage. And yeah, what do you think? Looks good? I think it looks good. Should be nice for what we want to do out here. Alright guys, well there we have it. The Acerbis skid plate for the XR650L. Completely beautiful, fit perfect. Had a little bit of issues with the right side getting that on, so we started with it first. Then everything else, you just kind of move it into place and she'll be there. She fits right into place. So alright guys, stay tuned for the rest of the videos on the channel. One more thing that I wanted to note is that if you guys are looking to get this skid plate, the oil plugs are accessible. We got the one right here on the right by the shifter, and then you can still get your frame plug. The only thing is the oil. I think that's the little filter screen that's in there. You're gonna have to, if you wanted to replace that and change that, you'll have to take off the whole plate. But like I said, there's only 4 bolts, and I imagine I'll be able to do it a lot easier the second time around now that I know how to do it. So just a little note for you guys. So this is what I came up with. I just drilled a little hole through the skid plate with a good old Dremel, and I zip tied the hose there. You could do it more if you really wanted to, but I think it'll be fine. If this big old thing's gonna be fine, then this little part's gonna be completely fine. And at the end of the day, it's just a little rubber hose, so it's not the biggest deal, but we will look forward to taking that whole emission setup off one day. For now, she's as good as new.